Hello, I'm Gordon Maples, the Regional Program Manager for the Secular Student Alliance, and I'm going to be walking through our Speakers Bureau. So, on the secularstudents.org website, which you can see here, pretty much you'll go to Resources for Affiliates, Group Services, and then Speakers Bureau. Alternatively, you can just type in secularstudents.org/speakers. It's pretty easy to find. Alright, so here you can see this Speakers Bureau introduction. So here's the important things to grasp from this particular page. First off, you're going to want to figure out what your needs are, what sort of speaker you want. And there's a few ways to sort of narrow that down. If you're looking for a low-cost speaker, you'll want to check on one of our lists of the speakers. We have them listed either alphabetically or by topic. We also have them listed by area. So if you're looking for sort of a cheaper event with a speaker, look for a no honorarium speaker that's not too far from you. It'll keep your travel costs down. But yeah, you can sort our speakers in a number of different ways. We also have regional speakers bureaus for certain areas of the country, which have even lower cost speakers that are more localized and regional for your area. If you're in the southeastern US, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, or California and Nevada right now, there are regional bureaus for those areas, so I highly recommend checking those out as well. There are links to that on this secularstudents.org/speakers page. So the second thing is, once you have found your speaker, there is a really easy, super easy Speakers Bureau request form on this website. You can see this on bullet point number 2 down here. Basically in that, you'll just say which speaker you want, that'll go to the organizers, and then we will get back to you as soon as possible. Basically we will, make sure that all the information you've given us is correct and what you want, and then we will get you in contact with the speaker. From that point, we will all work together to figure out the initial planning, things like what their travel plans are going to be like to get where you're going, what sort of board needs that they have. Some want to have a hotel room, some are okay with couch crashing. Really depends on the speaker. So at that point, you're going to want to figure out also their honorarium will have to be considered at that point, which basically that is a speaker fee. It's independent of any sort of traveling or board that they're going to need. You can check on our Speakers Bureau. We actually have this little icon on our alphabetical list. It's like a little money icon. That'll indicate whether they have an honorarium or not. And some are negotiable, and none of our honorariums are super high, but be aware that some of them do have those, and you'll need to raise money to support those. So, the next thing to do is, let's see, right. Once you have started planning your event, you need to have a plan for promoting it. Promoting your event for a speaker is very important because the speaker wants people to show up to their event, and you want people to show up to your group's event so that people know about your group and enjoy themselves. So it's very important to know how you're going to promote. So I highly suggest going to another resource on the SSA website at secularstudents.org/promotion. But we also have a few resources here on the Speakers Bureau, particularly the Design Exchange here. That's basically a bunch of previously done flyers that other SSA groups have used on their campuses. It's a pretty fantastic resource that even if you come up with a new flyer while you're designing your speaker event, please send them to us and contribute to the Design Exchange so we have more to offer people in the future. So, other things to note, I highly just recommend going to /promotion and reading more in depth on the sort of things you should do to advertise and promote out to your campus. So, if you need funding assistance, which you really need to know ahead of time what your sort of budget's going to look like for your event, first you want to check with your school. If you don't already know this person, there's likely a student life representative or similar who knows how the funding works at your institution. That's probably the best source of funding you can get. You can also get money from us through our Speakers Bureau funding, which you can find a link to here on the on Speakers Bureau page. Right there. Yeah, there it is. Cool. Yeah, so you can also, depending on what the topic is and what your speaker is, you can approach other student groups, particularly if it's a LGBT interest topic or a feminist interest topic. Check with your other student groups on campus. Not only might they be able to contribute funding from their organizational sort of pool of money, but you can probably get more money from the university that way. Universities love letting go of student activities funds if it's going to more than one student group. Also, you get to promote through another group of students, which is never a bad thing. Also, if you want to know more ways to raise money, check out secularstudents.org/fundraising. There's a lot of tips in there, a lot of previously run fundraising activities that have been successful. I highly recommend checking that out if you're looking at doing a speaker event. So at this point, now that you're looking at your promotion plan, you should have already figured out where you're going to be hosting your speaker. You need to do this plenty ahead of time. I mean, at least a month or so ahead of time, you need to be looking at your venues on campus and knowing if it's going to cost you anything. I highly recommend checking out a certain resource that's on the Speakers Bureau. Is the Speakers Bureau checklist, speaker event checklist. That's going to walk you through everything that you need to have done to host your speaker and a time frame. I would say at least a month out, you need to have your venue selected because usually they're high demand, and you need to make sure that you're not conflicting with anything else on campus. Like, for example, large football games usually shut down campuses. So, at this point, you should, I would say, 2-3 weeks out, even a month out, you want to make sure that everything is done and paid for and all the money is already set aside. If there's an honorarium, you want to have that sorted. You want to have everything good to go and double checked well ahead of time. So, at that point, once you're having your event, enjoy yourself. Have a good time. If you want to make sure that the speaker is also having a good time, check out our resource, 15 Ways to Have a Happy Speaker at /speakers/15 ways. Also, we implore you to take photographs and then tell us about your event. If you get funding from us, you'll need to submit a report at /funding report, SakeOfTheStudents.org/funding report, and submit a brag it up at SakeOfTheStudents.org/brag it up, where you can send us photos of your event and give us a sort of summary of it, and we can promote it on the website, and you can potentially get some cool free stuff out of it. So that's sort of the basic walkthrough of the Speakers Bureau. There's also a bunch of other resources here at the bottom of the page that we sort of come up with new resources here pretty regularly, but I think we've hit all the big things. But if you're interested in doing a conference on your campus or doing a speaker tour with other secular student groups around, there's also resources for all of this. There's also an FAQ, how to do a debate. There are plenty of other resources down here that I highly recommend checking out. But that's your basic walkthrough of the Secular Student Alliance Speakers Bureau. Make sure to plan ahead, particularly as you're moving into the semester. If you want to have a speaker, a lot of them are high demand, so jump on them as soon as you can.